Everyone keeps telling you, keep learning as you get older. Read the classics. Learn a language. Stay mentally sharp. I'm 79 years old, and I've never read Pride and Prejudice. 400 pages of 19th century English never made it to the top of my list. And honestly, I wasn't going to start now. At my age, I've perfected the art of selective learning. Why struggle through dense Victorian prose when I could be doing literally anything else? Like figuring out why my phone keeps suggesting I need life insurance ads, or explaining to my computer that no, I don't want to update right now, I'm busy. But yesterday, I spent 20 minutes having a conversation with Jane Austen's characters about women's independence. I debated whether a 1905 German poverty recipe could solve today's food costs. And I learned why German parents thought cutting off children's thumbs made a good bedtime story. We're going to cover each of those in its own video. A quick pause before we dive in. If you love exploring what's actually possible with AI, go ahead and like this video and hit subscribe. That's how we grow this community of curious, creative minds who want to make AI useful and not just impressive. First up, Gutenberg.org. This library makes Amazon look tiny. 75,000 books, all free, because their copyright has expired. But their wisdom hasn't. They're like that experienced colleague who retired but still gives the best advice at coffee. So here's how we make this work. We combine two free tools. Gutenberg.org gives us the books, and NotebookLM, Google's free research tool, lets us have conversations with them. Sign in at notebooklm.google.com with your Google account, just like any other Google service. Now, for this demonstration, I selected the two books, Pride and Prejudice and Jane Eyre. I chose these two books because they both deal with women's independence, but from different perspectives and circumstances. The beauty of AI analysis is it can identify patterns and themes across multiple works that might take scholars months to develop. The mechanics are simple. Go to Gutenberg.org and search for Pride and Prejudice. When you find it, click Read to open the full text. Then, copy the URL from your browser's address bar. Now head over to NotebookLM and create a new notebook. You can think of this as opening a new, fresh research folder. When you add a source, select the website option and paste that Gutenberg URL for Pride and Prejudice. Next, let's add Jane Eyre, too. You click on the Add Sources to add your second book. Go through the same process, website option, paste the Jane Eyre URL, and you're ready to go. Great. Two books about strong women from the 1800s. This should be interesting. Now, I know that some of you are thinking, Tom, this sounds suspiciously like you're trying to avoid actual reading. Well, friends, I've spent 7 decades performing the art of not reading things I'm supposed to read, and I'm not stopping now. But something unexpected happened. When nobody's telling you what you should learn, you start discovering what you want to learn. No pressure, no proving anything to anyone, just me. I'm genuinely curious about why everyone keeps talking about Mr. Darcy. Who knows? Plus, let's be honest, my attention span isn't what it used to be. But a 20-minute conversation with AI about a complex theme, that I can still handle. It's like having a really smart friend who doesn't mind when you ask, wait, who's that character again? For the 3rd time. So once they're loaded, click on either book title to open its source guide. Let's look at Jane Eyre first. NotebookLM starts with an overview of the content. Then it gives you this roadmap of key topics, things I would have missed entirely if I'd tried reading it myself. You see orphanhood and dependence? Click on that. Look at this analysis. It's pulling specific quotes, explaining how Jane's orphan status creates precarious social and economic dependence, showing how she's constantly reminded she's under obligations to Mrs. Reed. It even connects this to the threat of the poorhouse. and her treatment as someone not of her race. Now, I didn't have to hunt through 400 pages for this. The AI already found the pattern, pulled out the evidence, and explained why it matters. That is the kind of analysis that would take me hours with highlighters and sticky notes. Since these are two books about women's independence, I wanted to know how the women perceived social pressures. So, I asked, what social pressures do the women in these books face that limit their independence? Now, you'll notice this isn't asking for a plot summary. It's asking for a comparative analysis across both novels. The response synthesizes insights from both novels, like having a book club discussion partner with perfect recall who can instantly cross-reference themes and doesn't try to make you look stupid if you get something wrong. Look at how it organizes the analysis. Economic dependence tied to the marriage imperative. Class prejudice and social stigma. Imposed behavioral and moral restraints. Reputational damage and moral constraint. This isn't just pulling quotes from the books. It's identifying patterns, it's categorizing pressures, and it's showing how different social forces work together to limit women's choices in the 19th century. And under each heading, it synthesizes examples from the novels, it explains the historical context, and it connects the themes. You're getting both the what and the why of these social constraints. I couldn't have figured that out on my own. And here's a practical feature that matters. See those little numbers behind the text? Hover over them and you'll get a pop-up showing the exact passage from the source that supports that claim. If you click on the number, it opens to the full source, right to that section. This is AI showing its work. You're not just trusting what it says, you can verify every claim against the original text. At our age, we learn to check sources the hard way. Now the AI does the cross-referencing for you, but the principle remains the same. Trust, but verify. And remember, that first response isn't your destination, it's your starting point. Challenge assumptions. Ask follow-up questions. Push back when something doesn't sound right. Refine. Critical warning, the chat window is temporary. If you close your notebook or refresh your browser, everything disappears forever. No warning, no recovery, just gone. That's only the chat window. To keep anything from there, you have to click on the Save to Note below each AI response that you want to preserve. And those saved notes appear in the right panel. They stay there permanently or until you decide to delete them. The chat evaporates. Saved notes don't. I learned that by losing 20 minutes of work. Don't be like me. Save as you go. Now, to help our students practice, I've created what I call prompt sheets. Different types of questions that you can ask to get different kinds of insights. And there are 4 main approaches. Compare and contrast. This is where you can put in multiple books with conversations with each other. Instead of asking about one character, you're asking how Elizabeth Bennet's independence compares to Jane Eyre's, or what patterns emerge across all 3 heroines. You're doing comparative literature analysis. Role-play the characters. Now here you can ask the AI to step into a character's voice. Write Elizabeth's diary entry after rejecting Mr. Collins. Or have Jane Eyre explain her choices in a letter to a friend. You're getting inside their perspective rather than analyzing from the outside. Change the lens. This is my favorite because it forces new thinking. What would these 19th century struggles look like in 2025? How would a historian view these novels? Can you explain it to a 10-year-old? You're taking the same content and viewing it through completely different frameworks. Creative rewrites. This is where it gets fun. Turn the rejection into text messages. Rewrite Jane's story as a motivational speech. Imagine all 3 heroines meeting for coffee today. You're playing with the material to understand it better. And each approach reveals different insights. The goal isn't to use all of them, it's to find out which one helps you think more deeply about what you're reading. Your choice. Now look, I'm not saying this replaces reading. If you love curling up with a 400-page novel, more power to you. You're a better person than I am. But for the rest of us, the curious ones who never got around to the classics, who always meant to but life got in the way, who maybe feels it's too late to start this changes everything. At 79, I've learned the best time to start learning was 40 years ago. And the second best time is right now. And if AI can help me finally understand why everyone keeps talking about Mr. Darcy, well, I'll take it. The books aren't going to go anywhere, but our time for exploring them is. So let's stop pretending we'll read them someday and start having conversations with them today. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a date with some terrifying German fairy tales. Wish me luck. Now, if you made it this far, do me two favors. Hit that like and subscribe so that we can keep making these tutorials. And second, I want to know what's gathering dust in your I should have really read that someday list. Is it Moby Dick? War and Peace? Something your book club keeps referencing while you nod along, pretending like you know what they're talking about? Drop it in the comments. We're all pretending less and learning more around here, and your confession might just become our next adventure. Thank you.